Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the annual Valentine's Day episode of Don't Blame Me.
A midwinter ritual of love, unlike any other.
Okay, Build-A-Bear. If you guys listen on Thursday, you will know that reference. So, yes, this is Don't Blame Me, and we have brought on for what we think might be the fourth time, my ex-boyfriend, Ma Tangdong.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. What's that?
That's me. Is that what you're doing?
Oh, yeah, actually, for sure. I was referencing you, and I didn't even... Hello, everybody.
Who does that? Oh, it's you. Psych. So, yes, we're excited that this is happening. Let's give you a lowdown on the show. Oh, I hate when you find like random like hairballs in your clothes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Or
I hate
in my
that.
couch and then you start playing with it.
I'm sorry, they're fine. Like, mine look like spiders. Like, ooh. And I had his hair mixed in.
I
don't
find
know.
your hair all the time.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Can't blame it on anyone else. So don't blame me. We're an advice show. So if you want to call in to get some wonderful, amazing, life-changing, fantastic advice from us, you can give us a call at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Both of those things, you have to keep it under 3 minutes. We recommend writing down everything that you want to say. So you have all the details in there. Include your pronouns, how old you are, how old the people in the situation that you would need advice on are. And then you can practice, time it. And then once you finally record it, if you do a wonderful job, Melissa might give you a blowjob.
And we get a lot of messages about people and smelly dicks. And I'd have to say, no, thank you.
Now I got cheese stick on the brain. And that is not what I want.
Yeah.
It's not about you. He's like, what the fuck?
No, but my cast is starting to smell a little bit like cheese.
It's disgusting and uncalled for.
Also, it's only been a few days. It's going to get worse.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, okay, let's give the lowdown. If you didn't know, Mott's has a cast. I posted on my Instagram story. And would you like to share about, like, what happened?
Yeah, so I was at Bootsy Bellows.
Shut
It was a pre-Super Bowl party.
at
And
Bootsy Bellows.
some ruffians came in and were causing mischief.
This is such a niche joke to such a small audience.
I know. I'm hoping somebody gets it. No, yeah. So basically, I was on a roof and I was coming back down through the roof onto a ladder. And to get to the roof, there's like a skylight or a trap door. And when I was coming down, the safety catch on the door broke or collapsed. The only people that witnessed it were me and a subcontractor, and he doesn't remember because he's traumatized for life. And the door collapsed on my hand, and the latch went through my hand, broke the bone in 2 places. A couple bone fragments are still loose.
Are they floating around or just kind of
No. It's depressed fractures. So the kind of like, that's like blunt force trauma when it hits it and it kind of concaves in. So that can create like.
You should really be on like a doctor show.
I don't think so, considering how I handled it at the hospital. I'm good with the information part. I think that's why I like all that information, is because...
You can be a research physician.
Exactly. I think I like that stuff because I am like a woozy person. And so like I like to logic myself to like try and not. But the depressed fractures, it's, like kind of like your bone, it just goes in. And so in one of the depressed fractures, there's a small piece of metal about the diameter of a piece of hair and the length of a grain of rice that is just going to leave in his arm. So I'm now referring to him as Iron Man. But he didn't need surgery.
Well, they're like 99% sure.
Yeah. If you were going to, most likely, if you were going to need surgery, they would have done it then. And so the
but
stitches.
They are going to put a bionic hand.
Nice. And then we'll call you the bionic man.
Fister? Oh.
The $6 million man.
$6 million. Yeah. And then it was Bionic Woman was the spinoff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
nobody who listens to this is going to have.
You don't know that.
You don't know if they're into classic 70s television.
Yeah. Fuck off for doing like you know our people.
I was always more a fan of The Prisoner than $6 Million Man. Did you ever watch that one?
No.
Oof, that's good.
But to wrap up the arm, he's only needs the cast. Most likely, they said about like 7 to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, but they don't think it'll be that long. And he will be totally fine because all of the good thing about the depressed fracture is once you get out of the clear of like infection, it has like no mobility issues and is like very much fine. And so it's like the best possible way to heal from it. It just has like the harder at the start. So you're doing good though.
Yeah. Got really lucky.
Yeah. And now I will not I keep telling him that he like cannot do anything at this construction site without wearing a hard hat. Because
that's going to help his hand.
No, because okay, first of all, if you lose a hand, great. But if that happened to your head.
Yeah, that's true.
Oof. Scares the shit out of me.
I'm pretty hard-headed though.
Good one. But it has made me appreciate how much shit he does around the house that like now I have to do. And like, yeah, like he does so much. And I'm like, fuck. I'm just like the beauty and the funny, like comedic. I'm the comedic relief of this relationship. I am the talent of this relationship. Yeah, I need to clean the kitchen. But anyway, now that that's out of the way.
Yeah, let's move away from matters of the body. Let's get to matters of the heart. Right? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Let's get to matters of the heart.
You sound like you're doing like a transition in like The Bachelor. Like you're just like doing pivot.
I know.
You can be the new, we won't name his name, but
yeah.
Did you order groceries?
I did. Thank you for your text message because that's actually what reminded me to do it.
Oh, great.
And if I'd kept the red receipts on, you would have immediately seen me read it. And then I'd be like, dee, 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 dee. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So should we get into giving some advice? We want to do like, relationship, dating, that stuff. So we called out for it on Instagram, which you should be following. And if you were there for the first 15 minutes of that post up, you could have seen that I wrote the number down wrong.
Here we go.
Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I am a 19-year-old female, she, her, and I'm calling in about my boyfriend who is a 20 male. He goes by he, him. And I just wanted to call in because I am feeling insecure, right? We all feel insecure. But it's hard for me since he's away at school. We're about an hour away from each other. And I constantly feel the pressure of him being in a fraternity, being surrounded by constant sorority girls that are prettier than me, skinnier than me, and just overall, I'm feeling very insecure. Now, I know I don't have a problem trusting him, and I know I shouldn't worry, but I do, especially when he goes out to parties, if I can't make them, or if he's going out to social events that are with the other sororities. It's very hard. I would like some advice on what you think I should do. I talked to my therapist about this, and I do have an anxious attachment style, so I'm trying not to, go crazy over here, but we don't go to the same school, so how do I not feel like I'm missing out on the things that he does without me? And how do I stop being so jealous and actually realize that this boy loves me and that he won't do anything? By the way, we've been dating only for 7 months, so it is fairly new, but I know I really want to spend the future with him, and I really want to stay together. Thanks. Love the podcast. Bye.
So I feel like you guys always tee up at least one like long distance relationship. I guess I don't know how long distance this relationship is, but long distance enough. I feel like you always tee up one of those calls for when I come on.
We have so many in general, like also especially with COVID. So many people are even just like smaller distance, long distance kind of thing. Oh God, this one's hard.
Well, I'll start with like the last thing you said, which is this like feeling of FOMO that you have. I know this is kind of hard, but I think one thing that you should prioritize doing, if he's not okay with this, it should tell you like what you need to know about how much effort and investment you put into this relationship. You know, you need to just prioritize like your own social life at school. Because he's, you know, like it's inevitable that he's going to do some social events without you at his school. He's going to hang out with people. I am a Reformed fraternity brother. And as I remember, you know, we've generally had at least 2 or 3 events a week. And at least 1 or 2 of those events were always like co-sponsored with sorority or had some sort of like date, you know, component. So it's inevitable if he's in a frat, that's going to happen. And it's inevitable because of your schedules. Some of those events are going to happen without you. So what I would say is like, independent of what you do about the relationship or what you do about each other, you need to prioritize your own social life so that you can feel like you're not missing out on being social, and that if something goes wrong or he violates your trust or anything, you have a social life that you can take comfort and find support in. So I don't know if that is joining a sorority. You know, that's obviously not for everyone. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's joining clubs. I don't know if it's a little community that you are building out on your hall, but like, you know, you should make a point and kind of make sure that 1 night or 2 nights a week, you're making a point of going out, hanging out with people, forming relationships with them so that you feel like you're fulfilling a part or like experiencing a social life independent of your relationship, which I think is important in any relationship. Even like we live together, we literally do 99% of things together, but we do have things for ourselves. And I think that really helps our relationship no matter what. So that's the first thing I would say.
I think if you watch the video, Melissa and I had very similar facial reactions when you said that you've only been dating for 7 months. And I don't want to be like pessimistic at all, but like this is a very hard position to be in. And I can't necessarily say that there is a way for you to not feel that way and a way for it to like go away or feel better. Like it's hard. Like being long distance is hard. And then especially being long distance with someone who like literally has to go to like date parties with other girls and essentially has to go on dates with other girls. Like that's not like oh my gosh, like I'm being like so crazy. Like, no, that's like not a thing that like every relationship has to go through and deal with. And I think that like there is a certain personality type that can be totally fine with that. But I think that that is probably the minority. And I don't know anyone who would feel like great about it, mostly just because, and not to be negative at all, but like sadly, long distance relationships are not usually very supported in college and social life. Like they're usually mocked endlessly or like not, or like, come on, like, no, do blah, blah, blah. So like, I think that it is valid that it would feel like really hard. I agree that like, yeah, do stuff so you have things that you're doing. But I think that if he is like upset that you are going, if you join a sorority, let's say, or you do all the social stuff and he is upset about that, that makes me indicate, well, if you're upset about this, like that feels kind of maybe like projection. But I think that like if you've gave it your honest effort trying to do the long distance thing and it's like just not working, being at different schools and that stuff, like no matter how happy you are in that relationship, that's like a hypothetical aspect of your relationship. The practicality of it is you're long distance and he's in a fraternity and like this stuff is like actively hurting you. And I think that like you can walk away from that and put it on pause and then hope in some time when school's done, if you like want to like circle back to it, but you can't change the circumstance. And if the circumstance is not suiting you, you don't need to necessarily change yourself to like suit it. Like it's okay if it doesn't work.
Great advice.
Yeah. And the second thing I was going to say is what Meghan said about like the social scene at colleges is not designed to be accommodating of long distance relationships. And I actually know that personally. I was in a fraternity and I had a long distance girlfriend and it didn't work out, obviously. And there are exceptions to every rule, but it was, you know, and I was also a early 20s guy, and the social scene in a fraternity is not designed to be very accommodating of long distance relationships. So I would just say like keep that in mind as like you kind of pick your way through this, but you know, definitely develop your own social scene too.
And I'll just add on top of what they both said is excellent advice. But on top of that, being long distance in college, regardless if it's like sorority, fraternity, whatever's going on in your life, college is a time that you're doing a lot of growing and discovering of who you are. And even if you were in the same place, you could grow in different directions. So being long distance just adds another thing on top of that. So just be mindful of that as well. Even if he wasn't in a fraternity, there might be other things that might pull you guys apart too.
Agreed. Should we go on to the next?
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm V, and I need some advice on how to get over the love of your life, basically. My ex and I broke up a couple weeks ago, and our relationship was a whirlwind. I've had quite a few relationships in the past, and I've never been in love before now. It just feels so different, and I'm worried that I won't ever meet somebody and feel the same way again. We met 3 months ago on Tinder. I know how that sounds, but I just fell for him really quickly. Like, he told me he loved me 3 days in, and I felt the same way, and we just spent weeks and weeks together. Like, he just spent the night at my house every single day for weeks. And we did everything together. We would have like 3 a.m. IHOP trips and all this stuff. And he was just like exactly who I wanted. And I was willing to be okay with the red flags because he was everything that I wanted. And he treated me better than anyone ever did. But then a couple weeks ago, he decided that he had feelings for somebody else as well. And we had a long talk about it. And yeah, it was awful and horrible, and we broke up. And then after that, we decided to be friends, but we kept sleeping together and we kept kissing and then he decided that he had some things that he really didn't like about me that he had been holding in and not telling me about. And we were planning on getting back together officially, but then he decided that he had these things that he didn't like about me. And then, he told me about these things that he didn't like about me. And I just don't know what to do now, because now I have these ideas in my head of things that, people don't like about me. And they're things that make me who I am. And it makes me really sad. And I really love him, and we're trying to be friends, but, you know, it's really hard. So I just need some advice on how to get over him and still be friends with him.
I lovingly, I want to hug you and then shake you. Like, oh my God. First of all, I do not mean this in a condescending way at all. So if you've been a long-time listener, you will know this is not condescending. Therapy, because like you are describing like this man's not the love of your life. Like he is literally a menace. He is a villain. He is the worst. This is like toxic relationship. And this is classic love bombing. And the expression of he treats me better than anyone else has before, that doesn't mean he treats you well.
Right.
That means other people have treated you really badly and he treated you a different kind of badly. And like everything that he has done, there is no good traits, quote unquote, or good qualities that overshine any of that. This is toxic as fuck love bombing. And like, not only should you not get back together with him or be his friend, like you need to cut him off and everything about him off immediately. Get in therapy, or if you can't get in therapy, read some books about attachment styles and relationships and love bombing and toxic relationships and all of that. Because if you knowingly looked past the obvious red flags, we think of red flags as being like very, very obvious. And if someone has obvious red flags, like they have subtle ones, they have little ones there too. And if you are immediately willing to compromise major red flags and compromise in like a relation, like someone that you've like really just met, that is not a good indicator that like you are prioritizing yourself and your like mental well-being and have a good sense of what is like good for you in this. Like, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, this person is not your friend. So,
not the love of your life.
But let's start there.
I know. I'm sorry.
You should not be friends with this person. You should not continue to be really a resource or in contact with this person, because the way that man is looking at you right now is not as a friend, not as like the one that got away. He is looking at you as a contingency plan.
He's intentionally treating you like shit, making you insecure and saying things about you to make you feel like, well, now I'm willing to look past these flaws that you have, even though I don't like these things about you. Like, it's the definition of like love bombing. And like, it's the toxic cycle of like, he's then like knocking you the fuck down to make you feel like completely worthless. And then he's going to turn around and be like, you know what? I'll hook up with you again, even though he's with somebody else, and he's going to do that whole cycle over and over and over again. Like, it's just manipulation.
Yep. The ultimate form of manipulation. He built you up so that you're on a high, so then he could just tear you down.
And he's the only one who can do that. Mm-hmm. So like he makes it so his compliments and his praise mean everything. And then the negative things that he says also mean everything. So then everything is tied to him. And he's done this before. Like, that's like the point blank, he's fucking done this before.
He was probably dating that other person at the same time. Like, he just used that as an excuse to move on to the next victim.
Yep.
Last thing I'll say is, like, you didn't say your age, but it seemed like you were younger than us or younger than me.
I'm so young.
You are.
I'm older than you. So.
But you have a je ne sais quoi that is ridiculous. Love of your life. This person's obviously not the love of your life. Love of your life is going to be reliable. They're going to be communicative. They're going to be self-aware. And if there are things about yourself that you want to work on, they'll be supportive of that, but they are not going to point out or criticize things and then try to blackmail or manipulate you into working on those things because they're issues for them.
And 99% of the time, if someone tells you they love you on date 3, that early on, 99% of the time, that's not true. It's not real.
Because they don't know you. You're not even showing the real you on date 3.
That's a red flag. And if you're like, oh, well, no, I feel it back. That was intentional on their part. And like, when you hear stories of people who are like, I knew immediately, those are like fucking like 80-year-old people living in Ohio who met in like the 60s. And they're like, oh, we're in love now. Like, there is no, like, it's not like a fucking like toxic, like manic pixie dream girl. And I don't mean that in the offensive term to you, but I mean that in those movies that romanticize these like toxic relationships sadly, they always make the women the toxic ones. But like those kinds of things, like that's not when those people talk about like, I saw them and immediately knew and all, like it doesn't come along with these contingencies that they're just like not telling you. Like this is not how anyone's like true love and like who they end up with this isn't like a part of the story that they're not telling you that did happen. Like it's not. This is everyone's shitty fucking ex. It's not the love of their life.
But first step, getting over, don't talk to him.
Block
again.
Everything.
Should we go to the next one?
It's time for a break.
Yeah, fuck off. You don't know anything about this show. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. And we're back from our break. And we're getting to the next call.
That was so long.
I know.
Like,
you got some gray hairs.
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa and Megan. I am calling you right after a full-on crying session, so don't judge me on why my voice sounds like this. My boyfriend and I have been together for around 4 years. We're both 22, and I've been having this issue over the past couple of weeks. Well, I guess it's been more time, but I just never really paid attention to it now. I used to be really, dependent of him, and I would stay over his place, every single day, basically full-on lived with him while I had my own apartment. I just hated being there because I was in a shitty roommate situation. Y'all know how that goes. But recently, I moved, and I love where I'm living now, so I've been staying here a lot more often, and we've kind of only been seeing each other on the weekends now, which has been nice. It's because now it's more so that quality time over quantity. But, sometimes randomly throughout the week when I miss him or something, I'll text him and be like, should I go over? Or do you want me to bring you food? And I can come over. And his responses just don't really make me feel that great or wanted. He'll say things like, yeah, if you want to, or sure, if you want to. And it's well, I'm obviously texting you because I want to come. And I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm getting that same energy reciprocated. And I brought it up to him an hour ago. And he basically just kind of said that, we're not in high school and he's going to be playing games with me, up to saying putting on this act of him being all, I guess, excited, which sounds messed up, but that if I want to come over, then come over. He's never going to tell me no, and I'm welcome all the time. So he doesn't see why it's an issue on him saying yeah, sure, if you want to. So I don't know, am I being just dramatic over this? I think the change in me not seeing him every single day has been hard. So I want to feel wanted, even though we don't go that many days without seeing each other. It's still nice to get some reassurance. And I told him about the reassurance, and he's like, what, that I like you? I obviously do. I love you. But I don't know. Am I just being a baby? I'm on my period in less than a week, so it could just be that. But this has been an issue that's happened before. So I don't know. I'd love some advice on it. So thanks, guys.
Not to be cynical, but can you not just hear the unhappy marriage that this is? It's not a marriage, but I'm saying that this kind of vibe of we've been dating for 4 years and I'm not going to be excited to see you anymore. And that, what? You should always be excited and want to see your partner. I think if you had said this and he was oh, I've just been really swamped at school. I've just been really busy going through stuff. But or if it was a new relationship and you just didn't know how each other texted. And if it's not translating over text, but it is in person and all of that, he just seems the definition of comfortable and is now no longer putting any effort in whatsoever. And it seems he kind of thinks that that's what a long-term adult relationship is. And that is a very checked out mindset that is not going to lead to a long, successful relationship. And regardless if what you think or what you're feeling is whatever you're feeling always will be valid, but whether or not there's actually an issue in the relationship or it is something that you're bringing from your past into your current relationship, if your partner is automatically no, shutting it down and doesn't even want to have a really, it can't just give you the reassurance that you need and is telling you that no, you get enough as it is, that's not someone who is going to work on shit for you when stuff gets hard,
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with a relationship reaching its natural end. Ideally, only one of your relationships in your life will reach like
or however many you want.
Or however many you want. But there's nothing wrong with, a relationship coming to a natural end. And just based on what you're saying, it kind of sounds like that's where your relationship is, that you guys really over-indexed on the amount of time you spent together like early on. And he may not be articulating this directly or in a direct manner. He might be feeling better about having a little bit more space and having a little bit more independence. And there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is him communicating that to you in an indirect or sounds like kind of a condescending way. And what I would say, and I know this is hard, is you kind of need to approach that directly and ask him directly, like, are you enjoying being alone more than you are being with me? And if he answers you truthfully or he answers with kind of like feigned enthusiasm or like an obligatory, like I want to spend time with you, then, save yourself more months or another year of just kind of like going through the motions and get on with the rest of your life. And, you guys don't have to end acrimoniously, or you don't have to end it acrimoniously from your end. But there's nothing wrong with that. You're 22. There's lots of like dating and new relationships waiting for you. So go out and experience that. You don't have kids. You don't have a shared home. There aren't these other factors that are obligating you to try and like do more things to make it work. Like, go make the rest of your life work for you and don't force the issue.
Melissa, can you guess what my toxic advice is?
No, I don't think I can.
So my toxic advice is give him the exact same energy that he's giving you. Like, have him be the one to reach out to hang out. Give him the same level of energy that you are, because like, I think that, yes, that is like a very toxic kind of thing to do. But sometimes I find it easier to hurt my own feelings than to like have somebody else have all of the control in doing that. And so in that kind of moment, when you flip the tables like that and you get back that same energy and you recognize like, oh shit, I was putting in so much more into this relationship, and like you would be perfectly fine. Either you would be perfectly fine if like both of us half-ass the shit out of this, or you are upset because you expect me to carry the majority of this load of this relationship, and both ways are not like good. Like that's not like the answer that you want in that situation. But sometimes when you do those little toxic things, then I know that the choice I'm making is I'm hurting my own feelings. I'm walking into the situation going, this is going to hurt my feelings, versus, being the mature route and like having a conversation about it. It just depends. What mood are you in?
Next call.
Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I've been listening to you guys for years, and I feel like you two might be able to understand my dilemma and hopefully give me some advice. I'm 23 years old, by the way. I've been seeing this guy for about a year, and it's kind of a fuck buddy situation. Well, it's not kind of, it is a fuck buddy situation. When we started seeing each other, we agreed that we both just wanted to have some fun with no strings attached, and everything was great for a while. But the thing is, we haven't really revisited this whole conversation of what we mean to each other. Sometimes I get the feeling that we have started to develop something more. I mean, I definitely am more into him and like him better now than I did a full year ago when we started seeing each other, because now I actually know the guy. But I'm very new into this whole feelings thing. I've never been in a serious relationship, and I've never dated a guy for long either. I definitely have a lot of defense mechanisms in place when it comes to my emotions, but I really don't know what I feel for this guy. He's sweet and he's funny, the sex is great, but I also kind of find him a bit boring. I like doing things, being active and spontaneous, and he's more of a stay-at-home kind of type. Sometimes I feel like my feelings would be like what you in school terms would call like a crush on him, and other times, especially if we haven't seen each other for a while, I'll just think to myself, like, if I never see this dude again, it would be fine. I also don't know where he stands. I thought he was seeing other people because he never hinted to otherwise. But then he sort of invited himself to a New Year's party I was going to. I felt a bit weird with it, but said it was okay and he could come. At the party, he recognized the girl and he said he might have seen her on Tinder. So I asked him if he'd seen her on there recently, and he just answered that he deleted Tinder back in spring. I, however, am still on Tinder. I haven't been active the last couple of months, but I was dating throughout the summer and also had a thing with this other guy for about 2 or 3 months during the fall. When I'm honest with myself, I kind of just want to have a full-on hoe phase, which I've never really done. On the other hand, I would like to try the whole relationship, big feelings thing one day, but I don't know if I want to give it a shot with this guy. I don't know if I'm hesitant because I'm afraid or because he's just not the right guy. Also, it's a super bad time for me to start dating. It's cold, it's winter, there's a pandemic going on, and I have exams. But all of these things also makes it a really bad time to stop having regular sex. Don't really want to break it off with him. I don't know what to do. Please help me.
You don't like him at all. I think he is starting to have feelings for you. And so then you're like, this is a convenient dick. Do I like him? Like, that's what it is. Like, you're trying to decide if you like him because he likes you. You don't like him at all. You have the classic fuck buddy feeling towards him. Like, if I never saw you again, like, whatever. But then sometimes when you're with them, like, there's a reason why you get wet. There's a reason why you're having sex. Like, there is that, like, that schoolgirl crush kind of thing. I think if you age that up, like, that's also kind of just like lust and like being attracted to someone that doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a large amount of like long-term follow through.
I don't think you like him in that way. It sounds like you'd have to kind of like pull some mental contortions in order to trick yourself into thinking you like him that way. So obviously I haven't had a fuck buddy or a friends with benefits situation in almost a decade, but what it sounds like you're kind of describing is a work friend, which means, like for me, there have been many people at places that I've worked that are nice to have around the workplace for like a casual joke, someone to go to lunch with, et cetera, but they never make it into like the next level of friend, which is like people you actually rely on and like you would go above and beyond for. And when you quit that job, it kind of, you like hit them up, like, or they hit you up like a handful of times, like a month or two after work.
And then eventually,
and then you literally forget that you were friends with them. And that's what it sounds like you're describing. So I think get through your exams. Hopefully this is like the actual last wave. Who knows at this point? And after your exams, do your hoe phase.
Well, no, here's what I think though. Like, have a conversation. If you morally feel like he is like really developing like feelings for you and you don't feel comfortable like continuing on the fuck buddy like trajectory without having a conversation, have a conversation with him about like where his feelings are, or just to be like double check like, hey, like, so I just want to like make sure that, you know, like I'm still like on Tinder and stuff. And like, if you want to sleep with other people, like that's totally okay, like blah, blah, or like whatever your terms are for that. And then like, feel free to, you can like totally keep that dick around like if you want, because like it's convenient. You're right, it's cold out. Like where are you going to find new dick when it's cold? Like you've already had this one, you've like enjoyed the sex with him. Like I think as long as you are not stringing him along and like misleading him, which it doesn't sound like you are, it just sounds like you haven't had like an update to the terms and conditions of this like fuck buddy situation. And he's kind of trying to like do the opposite of the slow fade. Like he's trying to like slowly creep into like boyfriend position. And I think just be like, have a conversation about that. And then if you're on the same page and you feel comfortable continuing the fuck buddy thing, do it. And then have your hoe phase when you have the time. Because hoeing is a full-time job. Yeah,
he kind of sounds like an internet subscription that you forgot you signed up for. And you keep reminding yourself to like cancel so it doesn't auto charge on your card, but you keep forgetting to cancel it.
But there's one show that you like, it's your comfort show, and you just go back to it over and over and over again. But you're like, I probably should find a new show. I've seen this so many times.
By the way, we're performing like we're just throwing strays at this guy. Like we're dunking on him.
He seems like a very seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah, he seems very nice, but he didn't call in.
No,
so,
exactly.
It's true. And yeah, Megan's right. Like, as a guy, he clearly likes you a lot more than you like him. So the longer you don't update your terms and conditions, the more unfair it becomes to him. And
I wouldn't even say that. I think like morally, if you find it unfair, for sure. But like if someone starts to develop feelings for you and it doesn't seem like to you it's crystal clear, to us it is. But like if you've like had been a fuck buddy for X amount of time, you need to assess that and like have that have that conversation and update it. You can't, again, slow fade into changing what that means. So
just doesn't sound like you want to opt into the pro account. So
yeah. You just still on a free trial.
Yeah.
We need to stop. This is so annoying.
You got so many terms and conditions puns.
Well, I love your accent, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Irish, we think? Or what?
I don't know. If you hear this, if you want to like
if she hears this, I fucking hope.
If you hear this part, definitely like right back with your accent. Cause it is.
I was thinking, my guess was Irish, maybe Scottish, like a little, or like maybe one of your parents is Scottish, or maybe, I don't think Welsh.
No idea. Let us know. It's very charming.
My knowledge of these accents are just from Love Island. So that's it. Okay, now it is time for Don't Blame Them. This is where one of the listeners from our show will call in and give their own thoughts and feedback or their own advice on a previous call that we've aired. Maybe they have personal experience. Maybe they just want to be like, Meghan and Melissa are so right. And they're also so pretty and like, they're just the best.
My role models, they're who I want to grow up to be.
If someone said that, if like a child said that you are my role model, I'm like, you do not know me well enough, kid.
Yeah. And they're like, no, I do. That's exactly like, what I want.
Okay. Satan brought you here. Get in therapy immediately.
All right, here it is.
Hi, I'm calling for a Don't Blame Them for the most recent episode with the girl who was having trouble with the noise. I have like sensory issues and I have always had issues with noise literally everywhere I've lived. And right now I live in the best possible living situation I've ever been in with like two of my favorite people ever. And there is still a problem with the noise. Please, please, please buy soundproof headphones and earplugs. Sometimes I wear earplugs with the headphones and I don't put any music on with the headphones and it works super well. Sometimes I sleep like that. If I have to, I pretty much am wearing my headphones 24/7 and my quality of life has improved so much. And I mean like quality over $200 soundproof headphones. You can get them used if you're looking to do that. I'm just thinking, like, if you have the means to think about moving is crazy expensive. You definitely have money to drop on a pair of soundproof headphones. So please do this for yourself. Love your podcast. Bye, guys.
That's so smart.
So practical.
Yeah.
So economical. So utilitarian.
Okay.
All the things I love.
It's not true. You're very bougie. I wish I could do that. I have such bad sensory issues with, like, I mean, everything, but sound, like, specifically. I cannot do, like...
I can't.
I get
paranoid.
I get so paranoid. My anxiety goes through the fucking... Like, my heart is racing just thinking about it. Like, noise-canceling headphones, like, are actually... Like, that's my personal hell. Like, I literally would just get whiplash, like, flipping my head everywhere. And I also have this, like... My ears are so sensitive that, like, when I have my AirPods in, if it's even just between songs or, like, before, like, something plays, there's just this really slight humming noise. And that makes me want to, like, rip all of my skin off. Like, the amount of people who have, like, praised and, like, swore by, like, noise-canceling headphones in just life, just do it if you can do it. Like, that's such good advice. Didn't even think of that.
Yep, I didn't either because I
probably because both of us,
yes, are very paranoid.
Get really paranoid with headphones on. Well, that is it for our episode. Thank you, babe, for being on.
You're
and
welcome.
Thank you, Mott's, too.
You're welcome.
If anybody has experience like trying to live life with their dominant hand in a cast,
your cast is going to be off by the time this episode is out. Again, it will literally be on for probably a week total.
Hey, well.
Okay, yeah. The insurance is having a hard time, so maybe it'll be stuck on his arm because they won't come and take it off, or we can't go and get it taken off. That's a different time. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, head on over to the podcast store and leave us a review. We love getting the reviews when they're nice, and when they're mean, All we do is just make fun of you. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, again, the number is 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an email with an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And if you are listening this far into the episode, what should they go comment on our latest Instagram post?
What Motz's cast smells like now.
Gross. And if that gives you the ick and that makes you gag, comment what your Valentine's Day plans are or your best or worst Valentine's Day. We're giving you options here. Oh, if you want to watch the video version of this, you can head on over to Patreon. We also do live streams twice a month.
We still got merch.
Yes. Cute merch. Get it while it's here.
Yeah, some stuff is sold out, so there's still a few things left.
So get it. Follow us on Instagram, our personal Instagrams, all of our personal socials. Anything else you want to promote?
All good, baby.
Okay, we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts and Diamond Imprint Productions. Edited by Coco Lawrence. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. Music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to speak of them or talk about them or in any way portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. It would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.